Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. My name is Moinak and in this video I'll give you a detailed solution of the WBPSC Assistant Engineer examinations which was held in the year 2016. I'll try and solve the full paper in two parts, and this is the part 1 of a two-part series of the WBPSC Assistant Engineer 2016 paper. So let's start the video. The first question is which test is not used to measure the workability of concrete? VB test is used for workability, flow test is used for workability, compacting factor test is also used for workability. So air permeability is the right option for this, and air permeability is actually used to find the fineness of cement. It is actually used to find the fineness of cement. Also, another test for workability is the slump test. This is also important. The next question is the percentage of HYSD bars in one-way slabs to cater for shrinkage or temperature as per IS 456 is, the answer is 0.12%. Now this is 0.12% of the gross area for HYSD bars and 0.15% of the gross area for mild steel bars. Now this question may be asked in the next exam also. So the next question is the shear center in case of equal angle section is. Now the first diagram here is for equal angle sections. Now you can the shear center for this equal angle section is at the junction of two legs. This is the shear center and this is the centroid of this particular section. For channel sections, this is the shear center and this is the centroid. For I sections and this particular section here, the shear center and the centroid coincides for both of these. And for T section, this is the shear center here and this is the centroid for T sections. So you must have got the answer. So the shear center in case of equal angles is at the junction of two legs. Moving on to the next question, side face reinforcement in a reinforced concrete beam is to be provided for. The answer is total depth of beam greater than 750 millimeter. Now, if depth of beam is greater than 750 millimeter, 0.1% of the gross area is provided as side reinforcement, and the spacing should not be more than 300 millimeter. Now, this side reinforcement takes care of the longitudinal shrinkage of concrete as well as the torsion in case of deep beams. Now, the next question is a pitot tube is an instrument used for measuring. The answer would be velocity of flow. It actually measures the local velocity of fluid flow, and the coefficient of velocity is 0.99. And there are few discharge measuring devices that might be asked in the next examinations. So the discharge measuring devices being venturi meter, orifice meter, and flow nozzle. Next question is the capillary rise or depression in a small diameter tube is. Now the formula for this is H is equal to 4 sigma cos theta by omega d. So H is inversely proportional to the diameter. So this is the answer of your question. So as the diameter decreases, the capillary rise increases. So next question is the stagnation pressure is the sum of. Now the stagnation pressure is the sum of static pressure and dynamic pressure itself. Easy questions. Now next question is the total energy line is always higher than the hydraulic grade line. The vertical distance between them being, the answer would be the velocity head, or V square by 2g. The next question, a soil sample having a void ratio of 1.3, water content of 50%, and specific gravity of 2.6 in a state of. Now you all must be knowing this formula, SE equal to WG. If you don't remember this formula, remember Sehwag. Sehwag, where SE equal to WG. You won't ever forget this formula. So just replace the values given in the question. S is equal to WG by E, 0.5 into 2.6 by 1.3. The answer is 1. So 1 indicates full saturation. If the numericals are different, if the numbers are different and the S comes less than 1, then it is partial saturation. Now the next question is the minimum center to center distance between piles of a pile group in clays. Remember, in clays should be, the answer is 3 times the diameter of piles, and this is the center to center distance between the pile groups, between the piles in a pile group. Now the next question, a good question. A backside reading of benchmark 100 meter was 3.25 meters. The inverted staff. Now remember this word, inverted staff reading to the bottom of a girder was 1.25, the RL of the bottom of girder is. Now we know the height of instrument is RL of the benchmark plus the backside. So the RL of the benchmark here is 100 and the backside reading here is 3.25. So we just need to add the backside reading and the answer would be 103.25. Now, in case of inverted staff, the actual RL is calculated as height of instrument minus the foresight reading. But in cases of inverted staff, this minus sign changes into positive sign because it is inverted. So here the foresight reading is 1.25. So we just need to add the 1.25 part here, and our answer would be 104.5 meters. So 104.5, the answer is C. So just remember the inverted staff. In cases of inverted staff, we just need to add the height of instrument to the foresight reading in cases of inverted staff. So the next question is, for an open traverse, which of the following is true? Now this is an open traverse. This is an open traverse and this is a closed traverse. This is a closed traverse. This is an open traverse and this is a closed traverse. Now we know for closed traverses the summation of latitude is equal to 0 and the summation of departure is also equal to 0. But in cases of open traverse, both of them are not equal to 0. So the answer would be none of these. Remember, in cases of open traverse, the answer would be none of these. But for closed traverse, both of these would be true. Both of these would be true. So the answer would be C for closed traverse. And for this particular question, the answer is none of these. Now in PERT analysis, the time estimates of activities and probability of the occurrence follow. The answer is beta distribution curve. This is beta distribution curve. And some other things about PERT. PERT is abbreviated as program evaluation review technique. Very important, might be asked in the question in the examinations. Now basic difference between PERT and critical path method CPM is PERT follows beta distribution, CPM follows normal distribution. PERT is event oriented, CPM is activity oriented. PERT uses probabilistic approach and CPM uses deterministic approach. Also, there are 3 time estimates in PERT and there is only 1 time estimate in critical path method. So remember these points. These might be asked in the question and these are very simple points. So this is very scoring. Now closed contours with higher values inwards represent. Now contours are what? Contours are nothing but line joining points of equal elevation. So these are the contour lines. Now if the value increases inwards, it represents a hill or a hillock. And if the value decreases inwards, then it represents a depression. Now remember one thing about contours, the only time the contours cross each other is in cases of overhanging cliffs. Very important question, it might be asked in the examination. So only time the contours cross each other is in cases of overhanging cliffs. The next question is critical path. Now critical path is always the longest path. This comes from the construction planning and management critical path method. So this is always the longest path. Now sandstone is a sedimentary rock, true. An aqueous rock, true. Siliceous rock, true. So all of these are true. So the answer is D. Next question, if the foresight of a line AB is 35 degrees, so if the foresight is 35 degrees, this angle, and that of the line BC is 15 degrees, so this is 15 degrees, then the included angle between the line is, now the included angle is mentioned in this with this green line, so we need to find this included angle. Now we need to find the back bearing of AB first. That is 35 degrees plus 180 degree. So the back bearing of AB comes as 215 degree. Now this is the back bearing of AB. This comes as 215 degree. So this angle is 360 minus 215 degrees. This angle is 360 degrees minus 215 degrees, which comes out to as 145 degree. But the included angle also includes this part, which is 15 degree. So if we add this 15 degree to the 145 degree, that would give us the included angle. If we add this 15 degree to the included angle, this would give us the included angle. So the answer should be 160 degree according to me. So this is the answer. The next question is, the crushing strength of good building stone should be more than 100 MPa. commonly asked question in a lot of examinations. Now the bottommost component of a flexible pavement is the subgrade. Now for your reference, I have mentioned the components of flexible as well as rigid pavements. So for flexible pavements, you have surface, base, subbase and subgrade layer, and for rigid you have surface, base and subgrade. In cases of rigid pavement, you do not have the subbase layer. You do not have the subbase layer. So this is the major difference between flexible and rigid pavements. Now the number of bricks required for 1 cubic meter of brick machinery is, now you must have all memorized this question, 500. It comes in a lot of examinations, but it is a very easy technique to solve it. Now you know the dimension of a modular brick is actually 190 into 90 into 90 millimeters. Now with mortar, this dimension becomes 200 into 100 into 100 into 100 millimeters. So to find the volume of brick, you just need to multiply the dimensions, that is in meters, zero point 0.2 into 0 0.1 into 0 0.1, and the number of bricks would come as the total volume by the volume of each brick. So this would give you 500 bricks. Now just imagine, instead of 1 cubic meter they mentioned 2 cubic meters, the answer would be 1000 bricks. Very simple calculation. The next question is percentage of carbon content in mild steel is. The answer is less than 0.25. Now you should remember this carbon content. Carbon content, lower the carbon content, more the ductility of a particular steel and more machinable it is. And higher the carbon content, less ductile the steel is. Very important point. Next is if the cross-sectional area of an embankment at 30-meter interval are 20, 40, 60, 50 and 30 meters square respectively, then the volume of embankment on the basis of Prismoidal rule. Now Prismoidal rule is also known as Simpson's rule. Simpson's rule, and only applicable for odd number of ordinates. Very important. Only applicable for odd number of ordinates. So you just need to put in the formula of Simpson's rule. The total volume is given as d by 3. D here is 30 meters. D here is 30 meters, the common distance. And A1 plus AN, the first ordinate plus the last ordinate plus 4 times the sum of even ordinates plus 2 times the sum of odd ordinates. So you just need to put in the values. The first one is here and the last one is 30. This is the last one of the fifth one. Now 4 plus 40 plus 50. This is the second ordinate. This is the fourth ordinate. So 40 plus 50 plus 2 times 60. This is the third ordinate. So to calculate, the answer would be 5300 meter cube. So the answer over here is C. Now the next question is the initial setting time for ordinary Portland cement as per IS specification should not be less than 30 minutes. Very easy question, common asked questions. The apparatus used here is Vicat apparatus and the final setting time is 600 minutes or 10 hours. Also very important question. Now the maximum amount of water that a soil can hold by capillary action is known as field capacity from irrigation. Next question, in an earthen dam, the rheatic line is parabolic. The answer is parabolic, and rheatic line is the top flow line below which seepage takes place. If the total depth of water required by a crop during the entire period of the crop in the field is known as, the answer is delta. The answer is delta, and delta is given as 8.64 B by D. 8.64 B by D, where delta is in meters, B, that is the base period, is in days, and the duty is in hectare per cumex. Now if V is speed in kilometers per hour and R is the radius of curve, the super elevation is equal to, now the super elevation is given as V square by 225 R for mixed traffic conditions. For mixed traffic conditions. And if a question is asked for a particular car, for one particular car, V is given as V square by 127 R. V square by 127 R. But mostly this answer is applicable. Now the y-axis of hydrograph indicates direct question discharge in meter cube per second. Hydrographs are a graphical representation of discharge and time from hydrology. Now standard VOD is taken as 5 days, easy question, and the temperature at which it is taken is 20 degrees, important. Next is first stage of water treatment is, now I have not shown this, but the answer is plain sedimentation. First the plain sedimentation occurs and then it comes to these stages. These are the stages of water treatment. So if you have to mark the answer according to the options. If plain sedimentation is not given and sedimentation is given, the answer would be coagulation. So this is the flow chart of the stages of water treatment. First you have coagulation, then flocculation, then sedimentation, then filtration, disinfection, and then supply. Now if the question is what is the last stage of water treatment, And the last stage of water treatment is disinfection. The last stage of water treatment is disinfection. This question might also be asked. And the residual chlorine should be 0.15 milligram per liter. This might also be asked. Now, what are isoheights? Now, isoheights are lines of equal precipitation. Direct question. Isoheights is an imaginary line joining places of equal rainfall intensity. So these lines are isoheights. These lines are isoheights. Next question, BOD is a measure of, very easy direct question, biodegradable organics. So BOD is a measure of amount of oxygen required for decomposition of biodegradable organic matter under aerobic conditions. Also, BOD stands for biochemical oxygen demand, and not biological oxygen demand. Biochemical oxygen demand. Next question. Recommended per capita water demand for domestic purpose in Indian cities may be taken as, the answer is 135 liters per capita per day. This is for domestic purpose. Next question, drip irrigation is used in areas, arid or semi-arid areas. Now, drip irrigation is also known as trickle irrigation. It is the most efficient irrigation system and water is directly applied to the root zone here. Evaporation and percolation losses are minimum in this particular type of irrigation. Next question, in India, the maximum permissible limit of iron in drinking water is 0.3 milligram per liter. Important. Now there are two limits, acceptable limit and permissible limit. Mostly acceptable limits are used and permissible limits are those where you don't have an alternate source of water. Then the acceptable limits have some then you can go from acceptable limits to permissible limits only when there is no alternate source of water. So in cases of nitrate, the acceptable limit is 45 and no negotiation in terms of permissible limit. For fluoride, the acceptable limit is 1 and permissible limit is 1.5. For total hardness, 200 for acceptable limit and 600 for permissible limit. All the data is in milligram per liter. The next question is, the process by which rainwater enters the surface of the earth is known as, answer is infiltration. Again from hydrology, a very easy and direct question. Now, corrosion in concrete sewer is caused by, answer is H2S or septic conditions. Another type of option might be given over here. Septic conditions also. Corrosion in concrete sewer is caused by septic condition or hydrogen sulfide. Now, hydrogen sulfide gas is formed due to the anaerobic decomposition of sewage. Now, cyclone separators is used for, the answer would be suspended particulate matter. Suspended particulate matter. Now, which of the following cement contains maximum percentage of dicalcium silicate? The answer over here would be low heat cement. Now, why? Now, the heat of hydration for tricalcium aluminate is the maximum. Then comes tricalcium silicate. Then comes tetracalcium aluminoferrite, and then comes dicalcium silicate. So, in case of dicalcium silicate, the heat of hydration is minimum, and therefore it is used in low heat cement. So, a very important point. Also, low heat cement is used for mass concrete structures, that is dams, etc. Another very important point. Next question, sloughing phenomenon is observed in, the answer would be trickling filter. Sloughing phenomenon is observed in trickling filter. Now, the slabs without any beam is known as, the answer is flat slabs. Now, flat slabs are slabs that directly rest on column. It behaves as two-way slabs and the advantages are better aesthetics, better light dispersion and lesser story height. The disadvantages are it is uneconomical and used only for medium spans. Now, if the total hardness of water is greater than total alkalinity, the carbonate hardness will be. Now, carbonate hardness is given by the minimum of total hardness and alkalinity. If total hardness is greater than alkalinity, then the carbonate hardness would be equal to the total alkalinity. The answer is A, total alkalinity. Now, to compensate the loss of tractive force of vehicles along curves of radius r, the percentage of reduction of gradient is. Now, grade compensation is given by 30 plus r by r in percentage, where r is the radius of curve, which should not be greater than 75 by r. So, this is the answer that they want, 75 by r percentage A. Next question is, pug mill is used for. This is a question from bricks, and pug mill is used for the preparation of clay. Pug mill is used for preparation of clay and burning of bricks is done either in kilns or clamps, Another very important point. Next, cross the cost slope is defined as. Now cost slope is nothing but it signifies the change in direct cost per unit time. So this is the direct cost in y-axis and this is the time. Cost slope is given by crash cost minus normal cost by normal time minus crash time. So the answer over here would be answer D. The answer would be D, and this comes from the topic crashing under construction and planning management. A very interesting subtopic. Next, the critical hydraulic gradient of soil is given by a very direct and easy question, G minus 1 by 1 plus E, or G minus 1 into 1 minus N, where N is porosity, E is void ratio, and G is the specific gravity. As per IS classification, a fine grained soil is highly compressible if liquid limit is greater than, the answer is 50%. Now, for low compressibility, the liquid limit should be less than 30%, 35%. Medium compressibility, the liquid limit should be 35 to 50%. And for high compressibility, as asked in this question, is the liquid limit should be greater than 50%. Now, the head loss in a sudden expansion in a pipe line is given by, the answer is V1 minus V2 whole square by 2G. Again, very important. You can also learn for sudden contraction, the other losses as well. You can learn the a formula for that. Now the next is the critical depth in an open channel flow is the depth of flow at which, the answer is where the specific energy is minimum. Also, for this particular condition, the unit discharge should be maximum. The unit discharge should be maximum, and the Froude number should be unity. The Froude number should be unity. So the critical depth in an open channel flow is the depth of flow at which the specific energy is minimum and the unit discharge is maximum, and the Froude number is 1. In case this question is framed in a different way, you know all the answers for this particular question. Now the next question, the dimensions of dynamic viscosity of fluid is given by. Now shear stress is directly proportional to the velocity gradient. So shear stress becomes equal to this dynamic viscosity into the velocity gradient. So dynamic viscosity is equal to tau by du by dy. So shear stress is given by force upon area. So force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Mass dimension is m, and for acceleration t to the power minus 2. For area it is l to the power 2. So this comes to be m l to the power minus 1 into t to the power minus 2. And for velocity gradient du, it has dimensions of velocity lt to the power minus 1, and for dy it has dimensions of length. So it comes out to be t to the power minus 1. So mu is tau by du by dy. So just replace the values and you would get the answer m l to the power minus 1 t to the power minus 1 as well. So the answer of this particular question is dimension of dynamic viscosity is ml to the power minus 1 t to the power minus 2. Also, the SI unit of dynamic viscosity is Newton second per meter square. Newton, the dimension is the unit is Newton second per meter square, or Pascal seconds, or Pascal seconds, or Pascal seconds. So these are the 50 questions of 2016 assistant engineer paper of WBPSC. I hope this information on this paper, this solved paper, helps you prepare in a better way for the upcoming examinations of assistant engineer and various other examinations. If you have doubt in any question, you can comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel to know more about the WBPSC assistant engineer examinations. And the next part, that is question number 51 to 100, the video would be uploaded in a couple of days as well. So thank you, and stay safe and study hard but study smart.